Senate has just reached a decision on the proposed NFL stadium. Brian.
Yeah, Steve, senators just leaving right now. They passed the bill out of the Senate, headed to the Assembly on a 16-5 vote. John Ralston is here. John, you were in there watching as all of these senators weighed in, made their statements on why they support this. Tell me about what you saw in your political expertise.
Well, I guess we saw what we expected, is that all the lobbying that was brought to bear by coupling the stadium project with the convention center expansion. You had all these lobbyists, 16 from the Sands, Sheldon Adelson, and dozens more working on this. You had Democrats who you wouldn't have expected to vote for this, progressives like Pat Spearman, the Democratic leader, Senator Aaron Ford, essentially gave up half of his caucus but kept the rest to vote for this. They needed Democratic votes. 16 out of 21 is pretty impressive victory for Sheldon Adelson and those advocating for the stadium, I'd say.
So next we've got Assembly broke for Yom Kippur about 2 hours ago or so, but they've got to take this up when they come back Thursday morning, in addition to the more cops tax that's still on their plate. How do you see this playing out as they try and get those votes over there in the Assembly?
Well, I said on Twitter, and I believe it, Brian, this is one of the, I've covered every session since '87. I have never seen the kind of brute force lobbying that was brought to bear on this. You turned people who ordinarily would have been against this. You heard some passionate speeches by the handful who were no, talking about if you're going to give $750 million in room taxes to a billionaire, why shouldn't you think about giving it to education? But in the end, they used the argument with jobs. I think the laborers, especially Tommy White, is going to deserve a lot of credit for getting this through the Senate. And I have to tell you, I think the Assembly is a little bit more of a wild card, but based on getting 16 out of 21 votes in the Senate, I think they're probably going to get them in the Assembly, too.
Okay. We'll have to see. And, of course, as I said, senators just coming out of the chambers now, so we're going to work on getting some reaction from them, see if we can get that turned around for you coming up at 6:30. Reporting live in Carson City, Brian Callahan, 13 Action News.